You ever feel like you're being weighed down, like you're being left behind, and everybody is doing some really amazing things and you're just stuck? Um, I have. I felt like that several times, and I offer today's story, today's reflection for those of you who might also feel like at times that you are stuck, you are weighed down. As a reminder that sometimes it just takes for us to do a bit of reflection and to do some unpacking. Quotes, affirmations, and storytelling are wonderful tools for shifting our mindset. And in today's mindful moment, I share a memory of how I caught myself trying to please everybody else and prove myself to everybody but myself. So let's begin with our quote. Got it printed out you so that I have all of our notes for today. You want to fly? You got to let go of the shit that weighs you down. Now, I can't take credit for those amazing wise words. They're actually coming from the very wonderful Toni Morrison. But here's what I want you to remember. Three things I want you to remember. Number one, you are the pilot of your life. Number two, that means that sometimes you're going to need to reflect and unpack. Because number three, lighter loads travel faster. Now, if you have the time, I would love for you to stay with us, stay with me for a while and enjoy, the story that's going to follow. My name is Maya D, and I'm a storyteller by trade. I do it most often through dance, and in more recent times, I've been doing it through the form of writing. About 4 years ago, I began collecting quotes from different women in my community and around the world and writing them in my journal. And I'm not sure, but for some reason, I started writing these affirmations or those three things to remember underneath of the quotes. So I have the quote and then I have the affirmations and then going into my journaling process. And I began to notice this wonderful thing that there was some synchronicity between the affirmations and these memories that were coming to mind. So it's almost like the affirmations and the quotes were helping me to remember um, times and experiences where I'd actually demonstrated the very thing that the quote was speaking to. So almost like this reminder that everything that we need is inside of us. And sometimes we just need to go inside and remember and pull it out and apply it. And because I thought that that was kind of cool, I was like, well, if I found something that's cool, then it makes sense to share it with other people, right? So I started sharing my reflections and the affirmations and the quotes in the form of a blog. So that first iteration of my blog was just that it was edited versions of my journal entries. So not elaborate. I'm an Emmy. I'm not even an Emmy. I don't know. Whatever type of award you get for writing a book. Not that these were those types of experiences. These were really just edited versions of my journal entries, and people seemed to like them. And then I had this epiphany a few days ago that it might be a good idea to speak the the blog, to put it into an audio format, because while some of us are really great and lend more to reading, some of us lend more to listening, right? We learn better through listening. We're able to think better when we hear something. So I wanted to shift here, and I've pushed myself to come on live. I'm an introvert, so this is like very much outside of my comfort zone. Come on live for 30 days to share these stories. So, with all of that being said, we're getting into the story aspect of it, that edited journal entry, right? So go ahead and get cozy. So if that means you need to press pause because you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and do that and get cozy, whatever that means to you. And if not, if you're somebody that just likes to have something playing in the background, then do that. Either way, I encourage you to engage with the video. So as I'm saying things, if a question pops in your head or if it reminds you of something, go ahead and drop it in the comments below, because sharing is caring, the way I see it. And as I'm sharing this experience, this reflection with you, and then you share something, it builds space for everyone to grow a little stronger and a little better. So here we go. Remember, these stories are pulled from my journals. They're not elaborate works of art, but the intention is to share my insight, my reflection. I offer this reflection for those who might have a fear of being left behind, and as a reminder that lighter loads travel faster. I call this entry the journey. Number one, you are the pilot. What time is it? My mom asked as we drove back from the market. I looked down at my watch and I cursed, because at that moment, I realized that I had just missed a very important meeting with my colleagues and my supervisor. The meeting was to discuss the new transition within our program and the option for me and possibly other people in the meeting to take on new roles. I guess this was one of those times where the universe takes care of us, takes better care of us than we would have thought to take care of ourselves. Sometimes rejection is protection, and you can't miss out on an opportunity or a thing that actually belongs to you. I was really tempted to take on this new role at work because at times I felt like I wasn't doing enough. It felt like my colleagues were traveling to these exotic places and doing these wonderful things and performing all over the world. And to be honest, I was not the least bit interested in performing on another stage. I'd already been performing for 30 plus years. It didn't matter. I was more interested in the state of education. I was interested in how teachers were teaching and how teachers were being taught. But I wasn't sure that this was enough. I wasn't sure that this was enough to secure my tenure at the university. When I checked myself, I realized that I was actually just trying to prove my worthiness. I wasn't going to do it because I wanted it. I was going to do it because of some BS notion that doing more meant that I was worth more. I was doubting my validity of the space and the position that I had. So I was going for quality versus quantity. I realized that there were parts of me that felt like an imposter. Now, I identify as a geek, so I went into research mode and found that imposter syndrome could include doubting the fact that I had actually earned the space that I was in, that it would be more like some type of luck rather than the sheer total of all of the things that I had contributed to the art form, to education prior to that moment. I found this list of characteristics: self doubt, an inability to realistically assess your competence and skills, attributing your success, to external factors, berating your performance, fear that you won't live up to expectations, overachieving, and sabotaging your own success. And we must not forget setting very challenging goals and feeling disappointed when you fall short. I realized I had done a number of these things at different times, and I needed to do some more reflecting, some deep reflecting. Reminder number two: reflect and unpack. I know that others have experienced these things at various times and in situations, especially when transitioning into higher education settings. I mean, let's think about it. Fall convocation included sitting around and hearing about your colleagues who secured 200,000 or a million in funding. Meanwhile, I was still trying to find my way around campus. In my experience, it felt like everyone was doing such wonderful, impactful things, and I was sitting there doing nothing. At times, it felt like my aspirations and my dreams were out of reach and I'd become stagnant because I was comparing my 10-year journey to others rather than making a clear path for myself. And in a way, I had become stagnant because of it. I couldn't take flight because I loaded myself down with unnecessary baggage. My overall work would have suffered by my standards if I'd taken on that job because my intentions were coming from the wrong place, a place of trying to appease and to try to show off to others rather than doing what I felt was right, taking flight. The truth of the matter is, taking this role would have grounded me in a way that felt like a punishment. That was someone else's path, not mine. My overall work would have suffered, and that would have been the true downfall of my career. I went back to my aspirations journal to review my values and my goals. Then I made a list of measurable benchmarks. Come on now, I'm an educator. We got benchmarks, we got grades, we have those things. This list will become my roadmap. I use my list to make a to-do list and to give myself some order, and so that I would have proof at the end of the day that I actually accomplished something. This is because I know myself, and I know that if I could not prove to myself that I actually done something during the day, that I would not sleep at night. In my mind, all of this helped to starve that imposter syndrome monster that was in my head while making my path easier, simpler, and more direct. That role was a distraction from my soul's dream and would have taken up too much of my time and energy, all of which would have been the opposite of living a happy life. Taking on that role had nothing to do with my soul's desire for my future and would have delayed my departure and my arrival into the life that I wanted to live. No, thank you. The notion is not allowed in my idea of excellence. And in the words of Toni Morrison, you want to fly? You got to give up the shit that weighs you down. So remember, you are the pilot of your life. Reflect and unpack, and that lighter loads travel faster. I hope that you've enjoyed this quick moment of story time, this mindful moment, this inspirational story time, however you're looking at it. I hope that if you liked it or found it interesting in some kind of way, that you like this video and subscribe so that you are here with us for the next time. Quotes, affirmations, and journaling have been tools that I use regularly to help shift my mindset. And I've included some links to some of those very things in the details below. So check them out. Thank you for joining. Thank you for staying to the end. Hope to see you soon. Take care.